Alright, we are going to begin making our backgrounds for our still lifes, and to do so, our first line that we're going to make is often called a horizon line, and a lot of times it's referring to a landscape which it would separate the sky above from the land below. Now, since we're creating an indoor picture with our still lifes, this line is going to separate like our table that our fruit and stuff will be on from kind of our back wall of the room up here, which is where we're going to put our patterns. So we're going to start first with the top, and you can create your patterns however you would like. Sometimes I like to draw some lines first, and maybe even then just create a pattern in that space. And remember, to make a pattern, you have to just make sure that those items or lines or colors repeat. So for instance, maybe I just want to do triangle, circle. Then the next thing would be my first one. So back to a triangle. And then, you guessed it, circle. And then finally, triangle. Now, I could also even do a pattern just like this by creating some lines, maybe. And then when I color it with my crayons, I could color it like a pattern. So then, if I were to use blue and red, I could go blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. Again, just have to make sure I keep repeating until I run out of space. So you are the artist. You can do as many types of patterns as you would like, or you could just pick one good one and do it across the whole top. It is completely up to you. So there's another one. So again, I would just continue drawing out my patterns until I fill up the whole top space, and then I'll be working with the crayons to go back and color them in. Now, if you drew it as a pattern, you could color them however you like, but if you did an example like this, then you want to make sure that when you're coloring, you keep that pattern in mind. So like red, orange, white, red, orange, white, red, orange, white, red, orange, white, and finally red, orange. So that would be how I would complete that pattern that's drawn the same way. Just again, I have to make sure I color it like a pattern. So continue on with that first before you come down to the bottom here. Now the bottom we're going to make into a table, and you'll be able to see even at your own tables, even if I kind of move away my paper, look at all these different lines in the wood. Now this is called the wood grain, and having these lines really gives it that texture or that look of a board. Now to do so, we're going to use a marker and crayons for the bottom. And to start, I just make some of these kind of wavy, long lines. Some can be skinny, in all different directions. I tend to just go sideways with these lines though. I'm not going up and down. And then I also like to maybe even do some spiral type lines, or maybe some kind of circle type shapes. All different types of wood have different examples of wood grain. But make sure you include at least a few of these types of lines, and some can even go right off the page. Because then what we're going to do next is grab a brown crayon, and then we'll just lightly kind of scribble over the rest to fill in the rest of the white space. But then when we're done, as you can see here, the marker will still show up a little bit darker than the crayon color, which will then kind of create that illusion of those wood grain lines like we see in our tables. The good thing to remember about when we're making things like this is a natural thing, so there is no right or wrong way to do this wood grain, because you will never find two boards that are exactly the same. So have fun, be creative, and really take your time with that top pattern part, making sure we color it in very nicely. I'm going to stop now, but I will need to continue coloring my table here and then my patterns as well. And once when you finish, come show me.